This Houston HVAC contractor paid $3,500 a month for nearly 6 months only to see their SEO completely drop. And you can see they lost almost every single keyword that they're ranking on. And in today's mobile version of the marketing mechanic, me, Dennis Yu, I'm going to take you through what exactly happened with this HVAC contractor, why the SEO company was claiming that they were driving all these results, what actually was occurring. In other words, their Google business profile was actually driving it and their website drove almost nothing. And the way you can tell what actually works in making the phone ring for you as an HVAC contractor. Every Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific, we release a new episode where we draw something here on the whiteboard, in this case mobile, and we go through some real data. And we want you to be able to take control of your search engine optimization. So let's get started. This is Donovan Brown, who runs Call Southern Comfort, a Houston AC company. And you can see that on Google, they've got great reviews, 4.9 stars, 263 reviews. And this does really well because the reviews they get, because they're quality, because they're recent, this causes Google to recommend anyone who is within 3 miles or 5 miles of their office. Now, what people don't know is that your website and your Google business profile are separate. A lot of people think one helps the other. It does. So if from the website, people do click on the Google business profile, that sends a signal, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. You're going to see what the actual factors are to be able to rank in Google Maps. But just because you stuff the website with all these geo-multiplied pages, so you can see here, usually they're at the bottom, you're going to see here all these different cities, Richmond, Rosenberg, Sugar Land, click on any of them, right? You'll see all these pages are the same. AC repair in Houston, AC repair in city name, and all these pages are the same. What you can do is take this and run it through ChatGPT or run it through Grok or run it through Gemini and say, how does this fare against Google standards? And in this case, this is what the SEO and AI people don't want you to do, because all you have to do is use their own stuff against them. People who claim that you can rank in AI say, evaluate so-and-so in their company and their technique. How well does it rank against their own standards? So you can see here, scaled content abuse, where it's just multiplying city pages with boilerplate information, stock art. There's no authority score here because there aren't any links that are coming in. So because there aren't quality links coming in, which are votes from other sites, from high-powered sites that are also relevant. So for a Houston HVAC contractor, I would expect to see links from other Houston businesses and other people in HVAC. And it could be other contractors, it could be roofers and remodelers and landscapers and real estate agents that you know, but none of this is here. And so this just fell off a cliff, right? And you can blame Google changes things or whatever, but we all know Google standards have always been the same. They've just selectively decided when to actually start to enforce rules. We know about the rules, but excuse me, a lot of people speed and they think the cops are never going to get you. Eventually, they're going to get you. Okay, so all of these basic SEO stats, blah, 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 right? All these things that are wrong with these pages, which these SEO companies are going to want to argue till they're blue in the face. I did the same thing with Grok. I said, go ahead and take a look, right? And it went through the same thing, blah, 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 all these basic mistakes. And if we look at this conversation in a little bit more detail, now always these SEO people, in the case, this is the former agency, this is their head of SEO. Oh, I reviewed the website and everything's great. And, how dare you try to attack me? You're entitled to your opinion. No, dude, if you're a 600-pound person, you get on the scale and I say you're obese, don't get mad at the scale, right? There's a specific claim. Faith and personal beliefs have no bearing on, we're professionals and this matter's closed. And all right, if you think so, but Donovan was smart and he asked multiple people to take a look and they've all said that this is trash, right? Whatever you want to call it. I know people get offended when we look at the data. The data is the data, and you could see. We ran one of these reports through here just to see what was going on, and ChatGPT took a look at it and said, how is it that these guys are claiming massive success, yet phone's not ringing? There's different ways where you can use these cheap tools, not the good tools, but these cheap like Fisher Price tools instead of the real tools. We use real tools, the ones from Google and Ahrefs and SEMrush. Obviously, just because you have the good tools doesn't mean that you're also doing good work and you're skilled. But using crap tools, we like Ahrefs and SEMrush, which are the main two. Why don't these agencies use them? Because they're going to actually audit what's broken, and you can't skew them to make it look like that you're winning. And it's easy to just automate these simple reports. So how are these rankings going way up? And if you looked at the reports, if you want to see it, I'll forward it to you. You say, hooray, we've got 100 keywords that rank in position 89. No one goes to result 89. Okay, we need to see the phone ring. So let's talk about what it actually takes to rank. And by the end of this video, I think you're going to have a great idea of what actually works in Google Maps. You're going to find it's not some technical thing where a lot of plumbers and HVAC and roofer guys come to me and say, oh, I'm just a plumber. I don't understand this SEO stuff. If you don't understand this, by the end of this video, come let me know and I will help you. I've made this explanation enough times. I think you're going to get it even if you think you have a tech phobia. All right. So here we go. This is what you need to know. So the way Google looks at things is that you have your location. Let's pretend this is a star. Okay. And this is on the map. And just if you were to type in pizza, wherever you are, Google's going to find some pizza place that's close to you. It's not going to find the pizza place that's a 3-hour drive from you. So when you look at grid results, it's going to show stuff that, and I'll show you in another tool, it doesn't matter which tool you use. There's ones that are built into SEMrush and Ahrefs and all that, but I'll show you one of our favorite tools. In fact, I'll show you right here, Local Falcon. Check this out. We pay for all the credits. If you want to use our tool and you're a client, we're happy to run. In fact, even if you're not a client, we'll run a report for you just if you want to know. So for example, we can look at these guys. These are new Action Air and Plumbing. So if we look at them, we'll see, well, this is what we want. We'll see a lot of green dots. And right here is where the office is. And usually the further outside you go from the office, the less, the harder it is to rank. And also the closer it is to the city center, the more competition there is. So you can be way out in the boonies and, hey, we're number one, way out here in the boonies. Yeah, but there's no traffic, so it doesn't matter. So you want to rank number one where the city center is, where the population is, where the wealthier homeowners are. And that's usually where you want to place your office too. A real office, not a fake P.O. box office, which will get you shut down. Yes, you can get away with it a little while, but then eventually you get shut down, you get reported. But when you see here, when you're in position 11 here, it doesn't really count. You really do have to be in the top 3. If you're not in the top 3, then it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's come back here. And we know that from your office, we can draw maybe a 3-mile, 4-mile, 5-mile radius. The further out you go, the more difficult it is to be able to rank. So when you're, and let's just say this is maybe where the main city population is. This is where like all the people live, or the wealthy homes, and maybe there's farms out here, whatever it might be. But what you want ideally is to rank 1, 2, or 3 in areas that have high population and get your office close to, and you might even open another office here, right? If you have multiple Google business profiles, it's like an ROI thing. So think about this. If you can start by getting green dots around where you live, that can start to emanate out, because then this position where maybe you were in position 15, maybe this can move to 13 and then 12 and 10 and whatnot over time. And so eventually, in an ideal world, the whole map turns green, and then you're going to be able to see what that looks like inside your Google business profile. And I can show you some data in a minute. And from your Google business profile, there's 3 traffic signals that you're looking at. There is website clicks, where people actually click on the website. When you do a search, you'll see that's one of the 3 things. Number 2 is maps and directions, because people want to get there. And a lot of folks think that this doesn't really matter. This is actually one of the most powerful signals, because Google can also tell not only if you click on it, if you actually follow those driving directions to get to that location. And there's an example of this guy who had a red wagon and he put 100 phones in it and put them all on Google Maps and whatever. He was just walking around like downtown London and caused a traffic jam because Google showed that whole area as red, and because it thought every one of those cell phones was like a vehicle or a person or something. So maps and directions is super powerful. And then the one that's everyone really likes to talk about is calls. So what you want is when you see an increase in your map rankings, you want to be able to tie that back to the actual traffic. So just because you rank number 1 over here, does that actually cause an increase in one of these traffic signals? Maybe not, because A, you're ranking in the middle of nowhere. B, you're also ranking in a term that doesn't matter. So let's just say some not so honest SEO. They say, we're going to help you rank number 1. And then they choose the keyword for HVAC, repair, cheap, city, and states. Some really long term that no one ever searches. Ta-da, we're number 1 in the middle of nowhere on a term that no one ever searches, keyword difficulty 0, right? That doesn't matter. So when we look at real SEO tools, and let's just look at this, sorry, Donovan, to be picking on you, but you can see emergency AC repair near me, local search, difficulty of 12. There's 80 people per month that are looking at it, so that's reasonable. His own name, of course, he's going to rank on. So the SEO people are going to take credit saying, ta-da, we drove you some clicks here, and you're ranking number 9 on your own name. There's multiple people called Southern Comfort. Then there's a drink, Southern Comfort. Thermostat repair, not very difficult. See, these are all green. These are all easy to rank on. And you can see how many people are searching per month. So, you need to win first place and on a term that actually matters, which the terms that are going to matter are the major geo terms. And then the ones that are for HVAC repair, HVAC install, like the main terms, right? Not some obscure terms to be able to claim you have number 1 on that. So it's important to choose first off, if you can't rank on this super easy term, it's like playing the computer on level 0, then don't play the computer on hard, right? So this is like a litmus test. If you can win on an easy term where it's out in the middle of nowhere, where you're the only one, and there's only 2 other HVAC contractors, 2 other roofers, then yeah, you ought to be able to dominate on that. And then you start moving into the more competitive areas, more competitive terms. You need more power, you need more traffic to be able to show Google that's what you want. Okay, so when you have the Google Maps and you are trying to get these to rank higher, here's what you need. So you need real traffic coming in. And this is what people don't understand. They think, well, if I make changes to the website, or if I hire somebody to use a particular tool or using some AI tool, that's what they say is, oh, we're going to use all this AI and you're going to rank number 1. What a load of garbage. You need real humans. That's what Google's looking at. That's what they had to reveal in the big lawsuit where Apple and Google had a lawsuit, and Google had to reveal how their SEO works. There's one thing that we like to talk about but don't talk about, which is incentivized traffic. Incentivized traffic is real humans that are clicking on maps and directions, but they're being rewarded in some way, like a giveaway or game traffic or whatnot. Then there is bot traffic, and some of these people call it CTR, which is click-through rate. So those of you guys that run ads, CTR is in Google Ads is click-through rate, but the CTR traffic is tools like Search Atlas and other ones that love to do black hat, which black hat means it'll get you in trouble. They'll send all these bots from these IP addresses pretending to be in these different areas. And then if they know you're in position 13, the bot will come in, scroll down to position 13, click on your thing, get maps and directions, and try to generate a signal. And when I talked to the founder of Search Atlas, he said, oh, we only do a few per day, not enough to be able to get in trouble or get banned. We'll never get banned because we don't do enough. It's only if you do like a whole bunch, or if you're in position 50 and all of a sudden Google sees like the guy who's in position 50 is getting all the traffic. That looks weird, right? Obviously, we're not going to do that. But bot traffic, Google can see this now. So don't do that anymore, okay? Incentivized traffic, Google can see. Then let's just call this legit traffic. Legit is real customers and real people that have some reason to come to your location. The one that I think Damon Burton, was it Damon Burton or Darren Shaw talked about? If you've got employees that come to the office, have them use Google Maps to actually navigate from their home to come to the office, right? Because that sends a real signal. That's not cheating. That's employees that are driving to the office and they do that every day or what. That's awesome. Putting this on your website for if you actually have traffic come to the website and people click on that, then they actually come to the Google business profile and then click on it to go to the website or click on that. That's a real signal. That's driving real traffic. That's the main thing that we're going for. It's not about AI fakery and generating 1,000 pages that nobody sees. It's, can we actually, I mean, I guess if the website is helpful, so if we have pages like, what's it cost to repair my HVAC, or a 2.5 ton unit, information on this and that. If you actually have the website pages that's helpful, especially price, which is the number one thing that people want to know, then Google will send people here. And then that sends more people to your Google business profile, which then Google sees. And then it causes you to rank better on maps. Wow, what a surprise. Now let's go back here and take a look at some of the data here for Donovan. So if you look at Donovan's homepage, it's a beautiful looking site. His wife designed it. He and his wife, I thought that Dan Antonelli designed it, but that's what everyone else thought. It looks great, right? This cowboy Rusty, and they have it on the vans. They've got the beautiful jerseys. They have a core offer. This is great. But remember, all their traffic is coming from their Google business profile. It's not coming from their website. Their website, as I told you in the beginning, gets no traffic. Well, 1 visit per month. So this website gets no traffic. The website has no authority. So they could spend thousands of dollars on a new website. Doesn't matter because there's no one here. It's all coming off of this, the reviews. Remember, it's real traffic. So if he has real people that are coming from this part of town, then he's going to rank better in this part of town because that's the signal. If he runs ads in this area, if he boosts posts on Facebook, if he does our YouTube strategy like we talked about, and Google can see there's actual homeowners here that are consuming the content that we have down here, then that's a real signal. See, everything we're talking about where either A, we're producing content like videos, we're putting on the website, putting on YouTube, and then we're running ads against it, is all to generate real engagement from people who stick around and actually stay on the site, who actually watch the video, who actually find it helpful, who actually live in the area that you serve, who are real homeowners that need a roof replacement or have a busted pipe or they need their lawn mowed or whatever it is, right? That's what we're looking for. And it's literally that simple. So I would say if you're not doing this right now, and I talked to Donovan and other guys, they don't even know how much traffic, how many phone calls are coming from their Google business profile versus from their PPC versus their SEO versus, well, those are separate things. So if you don't know, you have no way of being able to determine what's actually making you money or not. It's absolutely nuts. In other videos, we talk about how do we strengthen the entity of this company? What are things associated with this entity? I think the Marketing Mechanic episode of 2 weeks ago, we talked about how the entity, where you're located, your name, address, phone, Oh, by the way, guys, thank you. We are about to hit 1 million views on this channel. Absolutely crazy. We started this channel, technically, I guess I started it almost 20 years ago, but I didn't do anything. I guess I created it, but didn't do anything. But then in the last two months, 3 months, you guys have been pretty good and you really like this content, and we boosted it too. And we can see like what you guys are watching, which is great. You can see, and they really like David Carroll. Yeah, entity structure. This is boring. Unless you're a home service business, you wouldn't care. But if you're a contractor, you probably want to know about this. But you can see this is what people are watching on the channel. This is the number one video the number one video in the channel. People are watching for 8 minutes. That's not bad. 17,000 of you guys. But by the way, if you want to, if this is your first video, you could watch this one here. Here I explain the overview of the first 7 videos and how they fit together. This is this whole marketing mechanic series. I do a new one every week. What I want to do is tie the whiteboard theory. I don't even want to say theory. It's just an understanding of how all these things fit together, like the engine, and how it fits with the actual data. Why these rankings are disappearing. Why we can rank in the maps. Why we can get a knowledge panel, why we show up here and people also ask and show up in the maps and get site links, and like, how is that, right? I want you to understand that. I want you to be comfortable owning your data and knowing what's working, what isn't. I want you comfortable, whether you have a son or it's yourself or your wife or whoever, comfortable running these sorts of audits and holding your team accountable, whether it's your agency, or it's your son or whoever. You have an internal team, you're big enough, say you're over 5 million a year, you probably should have an internal team. You should be able to continue to run these audits and see what's working and what isn't working. And there's no excuse for this because it literally takes a minute. I think Grok took 4 minutes and 6 seconds to run this audit. This is Grok 4 heavy. You have to pay $300 a month for this. It's worth it. We spend probably $10,000 a month on these tools. This tells you what you need to do. The agents can execute upon it as well. But the most important thing is you got to understand why what's going on here is total garbage, right? It's beautiful, but it's just, this is garbage. This is this is like stock art designed to try to fool Google. It doesn't fool Google. It doesn't fool ChatGPT, right? Spoiler, this guy Donovan is moving away from this past agency. And you can see we've been talking about it. I said, why did you continue to, this is the founder. He said, cut the fluff. I thought this was hilarious. I said, hey, watch this, Donovan, watch what this guy had to say at 2:33. And this is exactly what's happening. This is a customer that left this agency. Probably never say this, but look at this. You absolutely can. That's exactly what you guys are doing. Watch this. Look, we guys are different. You are different. I think that's where we shot. What do you do after the screw up? We ran the report and there is a screw up here. It is like a total belly flop. You can't even lie about it. And I said, look, I'll even help you guys out. Like, I'll perform an audit. I'm not being paid by Donovan for this. He's not our client. He just reached out for help. When people ask for help, I'll help them, client or not. Even if it's another agency, it's fine. We help train a lot of agencies. And then look at how this guy is super defensive. The data is the data. Let's take it from their founder. This is what their founder said. Let's just hear, what did he say again? Let's listen to that. I think that's where we shot. We're not going to cover it. We're not going to hide it. We're not going to... We're not going to be that bad. Anyway, what's this guy? Who is this guy? Red Palm. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's look at the fun thing is when you audit the actual SEO companies, let's take a look at their own SEO. Oops, HTTPS issue. Probably want to fix that one. Let's see. Do they rank on anything? No, they don't. They have no search traffic. They rank on one keyword. They have 10,000 garbage backlinks to rank on one keyword. Not running ads. Cut the fluff. Okay, let's take a look at what you rank on. Let's use real tools, not the fake tools, okay? They ranked on Palm Studios, which I don't think is their company, and Red Palm Advisors. I don't think that's their company either. They lost this anyway, so they only rank on this one term, and it's not even them. Huh. Let's see what content they have. Do they have any content? Let's look at the pages. They have one, a contact page. That's the only one that shows up on their entire website. This is across the entire website, this SEO company. The Red Palm just got caught red-handed. SEO marketing, where's the fluff? I think it's, why should I trust you? Because I care about the data. Anyway, hey guys, I don't want to let this go on forever because this is, I don't mean to pick on this Red Palm company. Just know that 99% of the companies are like that. They're run by salespeople. They're not mechanics. They don't actually, there's a difference between the guy in the showroom who's got a tie on who does the whole manager dance versus the guy who actually works on the site and knows how to do this stuff. But I want you to see real signals. What are you doing to drive real signals? Is it SEO fluff where it's one article per month and they charge you $2,000 a month for it? Or is your agency actually creating real signals? Are they, if you want us to help, we'll do an audit, no problem. We can take a look at your analytics. We can see where your leads are coming from. We can see where you're ranking in the map results. And daily, we will see a bunch of green dots. And then the green dots result in real phone calls. And we can see that it's not just ranking number one where it doesn't matter, but ranking number one where it drives phone calls. I hope this all makes sense and you understand that what's showing up in Google Maps versus what's showing up in Google Maps is not driven by the website. It's not even driven by your ads. It's driven by your ability to get reviews, where those reviews are coming from, where people are getting maps and directions, the signals that Google knows that people can't cheat. So I would love to hear, what do you think? Do you have questions? Are you maybe now mad because you've been sold a bunch of fluff by someone who's very confident and says that they don't sell fluff, but then again, they don't show you the real data or use real tools. They don't show you in your CRM. They don't show you in the actual Google business profile, in the actual Google Maps data, in the actual Google Analytics. They have a third-party report that skews the data where you can twist it. I want you guys to own your own data. And I want to know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe.